evening, folks. Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It is starting 11 prediction time for tomorrow's game at home against Livingston. It's probably the craziest starting 11 prediction I'll ever do. Obviously, all of the players that were out the other night there from the Dubai isolation, they're still out, so it's going to be much the same team as the other night with all those changes. I knew when I done the Hibs starting 11 that there was going to be a problem with it after we had one positive COVID test. Little did I know that half the first team were going to be laid out with it, but there you go. This has been another tumultuous week, if you like. We were waiting with bated breath on the club coming out with a response and an apology for how they handled Dubai. We got that in the form of a 5-minute video interview with Peter Lowell. I think if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know what I think of it. It was an apology, and while that was welcome, I think it was exactly how you'd expected it to be. We're sorry, in hindsight we're sorry, but here's why we went again. And then some really strange statements about how Celtic is the club that's been most affected by the pandemic, and how we have to just unite and move forward, and nothing about the January review we were promised either. It's just all a bit of a farce. If somebody told you in August that we'd go into a home game against Livingston in January, 22 points behind, Gavin Stratton taking the first team, and 13 or 14 first team players ruled out with Mikey Johnson up front and no fit strikers, you'd have laughed at them. It's a mad situation. It's as bad as it could be. I don't see how this season could have went any worse so far. It's that bad. This is going to be a starting 11 prediction without graphics, because half of these youth players I don't have graphics ready for. So if Celtic can charge you £600 and make a farce out of an entire season, then I can get away with doing one starting 11 prediction without player graphics. Livingston obviously coming to this one sitting 5th in the table. They're on 30 points. They're the form team in the league. They've won the last 7 games on the spin in all competitions, 6 in the league and 1 in the Betfred Cup. They're playing really, really well right now, Livingston, and this is going to be a really tough game for us. We know that Livingston can stifle the game. They can make it really difficult for you, but we've never faced them on this sort of run. This is probably the best run they've been on since they came back into the league. 7 wins in a row. We'd kill for 7 wins in a row this season. That's how good they're doing. So I expect tomorrow to be really, really difficult. Go off the back of how the team played against Hibs on Wednesday. You can tell it's just a team that's never played together. There's a lot of young guys there that haven't played a lot of first team professional football. It's just going to be incredibly difficult. There's nothing you can do with a team like that, particularly when there's no strikers. I said the other night, I say all the time that a football team is only as good as its strikers. And we didn't have any the other night, so it wasn't any surprise that we didn't win the game. Here's what I think the team will be tomorrow. Conor Hazard will obviously keep his place in goals. I expect Frimpong to stay at right back. I think Welsh and Duffy will be the centre halves. Laxalt will continue at left back. In midfield, again, I don't know what we do with the formation because we don't have any strikers. I know we've seen Johnston and Harper up there on Wednesday night, but they both came deep to get on the ball, and they were out wide, and Vogic was there, and it just seems strange at times. So I think the 4 in midfield will be Sorrow, McGregor, Turnbull and Vogic. I think David Turnbull was, again, I think he's obviously the only shining light that we can take for this season, because he's been really good and his free kick was absolutely sublime. So I think he'll definitely play. I think that'll be the midfield. Again, who knows? We've brought Scott Robertson back from Gillingham. Whether he'll be involved, this kind of shows you the decision making this season, right? We've got Afolabi, who's a striker on loan at Dunfermline, I think it is. We haven't brought him back. We have brought Scott Robertson back, who's a midfield player from Gillingham in England. When we've got a million midfield players, but the 4 midfield players that started the other night are first team players. It's not like we're struggling for numbers in midfield, so I don't see why we've brought Scott Robertson back, to be honest with you. So it's strange, but I think that'll still be the midfield 4, the same for Wednesday night. And up top, I'm going to say Mikey Johnston, and I'm going to put Karamoko Dembele in as well. I think Harper tried his best the other night. There might be a player in there. Early days for him. I think he looked bright, but I want to see Dembele starting. Dembele's had a couple of first team appearances And if you're not going to start the boy in this situation, when are you ever going to start him? I'd like to see him also get longer the other night as well. I just think he's got something. We've seen it before. There's not been all this hype about him. If he's not got something, we know that he's got talent. And I want to see it. I want to see it from the start in the game. I want to see how he handles starting for Celtic. And can he go and impact the game? Because when you come on with 15, 20 minutes to go, it's always difficult to come into the game and make a real impact, particularly in a game like Wednesday night when there was nothing really happening in it. The game didn't have a real flow. It felt like a friendly at times. So I want to see Karamoko Dembele start tomorrow and Johnston as well up alongside him. I thought he struggled the other night, Mikey Johnston. Not played a lot of football this season, maybe getting back up to speed and playing out of position again. So I think between those two, they'll play as some sort of strike force. That's all we've got in it. It's astounding that we don't have any like strikers in the youth team ready to play. We hadn't really produced a number 9 for many a long year, to be honest with you. So I think those two will play up front. That's the team that I'm guessing Gavin Strachan will go with. He'll be on the phone to Neil Lennon, no doubt. I wonder if we'll have any subs coming on with AirPods in, but I think that's the team. Like the video, comment your own thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We'll be back tomorrow with all of the live full-time reaction after the game as usual here from the home of full-time reaction and Celtic Fans TV. Cheers.